Everyone knows Moby Dick. Great novel. A great novel. My dirty secret is I could never fucking finish it. I was properly, I said, this is, Coleridge used to say that when he would read his contemporaries and he was bored, he would say, well, I understand their ignorance. But if he read Socrates and he was bored, he would say, I'm ignorant of his understanding. That it was his problem. And, I was prepared to confess that it was my problem with Moby Dick, but it just bored the piss out of me. And it had to do with, they start out there, they're looking for the whale. I'm with them. I personally am not going to go looking for the whale, but that's the given. That's the premise. It's the Pequod. They're looking for the whale. But then they get involved with the construction of the whaling ship. I'm willing to give them that. Right? The ship is built. They're out on the water. Once you're out on the water, the construction of the whale. Fuck the construction of the whaling ship. Then the rigging of the whaling ship, the building of the harpoon, you get now out the skeleton of the whale, the blubber of the whale, the ambergris of the whale. You know what ambergris is? One of you girls knows. What's ambergris? They make perfume. I don't care. So Moby Dick, as most of you know, this guy, a person of deep conviction, verging on fanaticism, Ahab. He's lost his leg to a whale in a previous whaling foray. And he's a pretty charismatic guy to the extent that he is able to persuade others to support his monomania. They help him, they sign on, and there's all kinds of subsidiary reasons for them to sign on. They make a living, and so on. On the other hand, it's a little dangerous to be working for a lunatic. Gradually, one and another of the, okay, I'm making a good buck. And, they used to get a percentage. It's what we're on strike for. Everybody on a whaling ship used to get a percentage. That's good. On the other hand, if we all die, that's bad. If the ship goes under, that's a bad thing. As one of my Jewish relatives once said to me, 10% of nothing is nothing. And so as the voyage goes on, some of the people on the crew are saying, Captain, and I love you. I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're a great guy. What about another whale? Huh? What about nutsy crazy? Consider the concept of another whale. That isn't such a killer whale. Huh? We all get our percentage, right? Plus, we have the benefit of surviving. That's an upside. And Ahab gradually reveals himself to be saying, you know what? This ain't about business. That whale took my leg. And the only way the world makes sense to me is if I go to fuck it up. And so what pissed him off about the whale taking his leg? Well, what pissed him off is it's a whale, and it got him, and yet here he is pissed off at it. It's like he has to explain his experience to himself, and part of what he's thinking about it is, I'm an idiot. You know, he wasn't a stupid guy. He says, yet I feel compelled to go after him. What are the things I hate about it? It's whiteness. You know, Casper the Friendly Ghost was white. We didn't hate him. He was a friendly ghost. And he says, you know, okay, there's something arbitrary. There's something arbitrary. I'll give you that. It's arbitrary. It's fanciful, he might say. It's a private association. Even logic, even epistemology, he argues, is private and fanciful. In other words, he says, all of my rational faculties, all of my wisdom as a captain, all of my knowledge about sailing, all of my knowledge about whale hunting are in the service of a monomania, of an irrational fixation. Essentially what he says, I don't care what, you know, because Starbucks says, Captain, it's big, it's a big whale, it's a man-eater, but that's what whales do. You know, that's what the man-eating whale, hence the name, man-eating whale. Why? Because he eats men. So if that's his nature, he's not really, you know, it's not like he's got it in for you, right? Some people like sushi. Those are sushi eaters. And whales, some whales are man-eaters. You know, but you don't hate a sushi eater for being a sushi eater. It's just, that's what he happens to eat. That's what the whale eats. What are we doing, Captain? What are we? He says, I have to call him evil to make my life make sense within the givens of my nature, which is I'm a little wacky. Now, let's go back to the impossibility of getting through the fucking book. Right? Because that's a very interesting construct. The only thing is, if you can't finish the book, who cares? You get to a certain point in Moby Dick where all of the rational approaches to the subject matter have exhausted themselves. Every logical presentation which allows you to encounter the data of not only the whale, but of the ship, of what the job of everybody on the ship is, what it's made of and everything. And you're finally thinking, I don't care. I don't care. I want to finish the fucking book and I want to read something else. I just hate the idea of not finishing. And just when you've gotten to that point, when no other element reinforces your continued engagement with the world of the work, the narrative says the whale. Try as you will, you cannot compass him. You can't control it with reason. And then the heading of the next chapter is the chase, first day. By exhausting certain of the other ways of relating to the experience of life, other than imagination, the text has brought you to stand in a felt relation with monomania. It doesn't make any sense. It is an engagement with the world on the basis of adherence to the dictates of one's own nature, just the way the whale's a man-eater. I'm a novel eater. And that's the only way to understand experience. Only by previously eroding all the other ways of taking of understanding experience, can we get to that one? You only understand as a human being what fancy is when you re-encounter another definition of fancy, of the embrace of fancy as an organizing principle, is despair. Private association, which assumes a separateness from the world of experience.